Warning: Tattnes TV may contain coarse language and mature themes that may not be suitable for children. Viewer discretion is advised.
You never see it coming when the sniper hit. That's my kind of this like infinite living with a ninja strength and confidence. The sun saw me dial it in. Showed y'all what time it is. Shining only common sense. Daytime is over with. Nightfall. Any minute X on my list, I black and night crawl. Here and there you see me. After that, a nightfall. On his own sword, you better come in accord with I'm striking with you flat. See, I don't sense the like of it. Anything can happen when you live. Engineered to thrive, survivors a 9 to 5. 5 out of 9, you out of a job though. You think I'm pie made now? See me at 5-0.
Tattnes TV starts now.
Hey guys, welcome to Tattnes TV. I am not Keith McCleary, but that's okay though, because Keith is off doing family adjacent things. But in the meantime, let me introduce you to somebody that is near and dear to this region right here. He is my co-host on New England Natives. He does a litany of shows that I'm going to have him say the names of because I could have butchered the heck out of all of them. But regardless, I would like to introduce you to my good friend, close acquaintance, closet lover, Jason the Wolf Alme.
Not so closet anymore, dog. You just told the internet we make love.
Is that scissoring?
Yeah, that's us rubbing our private parts together when we make love. We make sweet, awesome. Sweet love. What's good, everybody? Thank you for having me. It's an honor and, frankly, a thrill to be here.
Now, would you equate it to climbing Mount Everest without oxygen type of thrill, or when you go down the hill in your car and it's just a little bit steeper than you thought it is and you just kind of go woo? Which thrill were you referring to? Not to downgrade it too much, but probably more like the second one, simply because I don't think I'm going to die at any point this evening. And if I do, it's not as a result of this show, right? Like if my wife just kills me tonight, it wasn't because of this, at least mostly. Mostly. I mean, it might be. She might be like, our children mean more. What are you doing?
It'd be like, this is the second time you've recorded a podcast or YouTube stream this week.
That's so funny.
Twice in 7 days is too much.
That's exactly what I was going to say, too. That's so funny. We have the same.
I mean, you've got a wife. You know how it is.
It's true. I do have a wife.
If we made $1 million doing this, if I made $1 million a year doing this, my wife would be like, you better get your ass down there and start recording, dog. It's been 12 hours since you've recorded anything. Like, it would be the opposite. Things would flip pretty quick. My wife would be like, you get down there, you open that TV up, you better turn that webcam on, dog. She'd get serious about this whole bit if it started bringing in dough. But right now, where it's about breaking even, my wife is like, you gonna do that shit again? I'm like, dude, it's been a month and a half. She's like, you sure? It feels like it hasn't been that long.
I saw the bank account, Jason. We're getting a little bit low on there.
Oh yeah.
Oh hey, look, our first message.
Oh hey, there he is. There's Tattnes.
He's right there. He's right there. It's so funny. He's with us in spirit.
Have you had your kid yet? Have you? Has your child been born?
I don't think it has been. She has not been born yet. I don't know why I say it like I don't know the gender. Yes,
he mentioned last week. He mentioned that in the episode. I'm not revealing anything that hasn't already been revealed to the public. But
I mean, you could if you wanted to. Like, this is the time. TV.
Well,
is the time.
Tom and I get together. We meet in the middle in New Hampshire, and we scissor, and that's the big reveal.
So tomorrow seems to be time. Stop rushing him, Jason. They're having a kid.
I'm curious. I'm excited. I have 2 daughters. You have 1 daughter, right? You have a daughter. You were telling us about that last week, how you watch inappropriate films.
Wow. Thank you for saying it like that. Anybody that's watching right now is like, what does he mean by that, Tom? CPS is like,
maybe you should explain yourself. How?
I am a horror movie fan. You see some of the examples behind me of my horror movie And thank you. I'm glad somebody said it, because that's whenever I think of the term scissor, that's all I think is scissor me timber, Cersei's. Oh, South Park, still so good. I'm a big horror movie fan, like we all should be. I think you like a movie or two too, correct? I mean, that's not a fake
I mean, I actually just have 500 copies of The 40-Year-Old Virgin behind me.
Oh man,
500 copies of the same movie. I think I might have Big Trouble in Little China back there once or twice.
Just kind of shuffled in just to take the edge off.
Yeah.
Do you know what's really funny is I watched this guy who does it's not pawning, but he does like he goes to like flea markets and like Goodwills and stuff, and he buys stuff. Yeah. And one thing that he gets to buy, and he looks for every single time, is he looks for copies of Titanic, and he buys them every single time, like without fail.
Okay.
And I don't know why they do, but they do.
Does he resell these items that he finds?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's a reseller, but he doesn't resell the Titanics though. Like he just keeps them in a big old collection, which is a little like not strange.
No, that's strange. That's definitely. I think that qualifies as strange to me.
I mean, or it's genius. What if he buys up every single copy of Titanic, and then all of a sudden there's like this influx, like, you know, like it kind of drops and stuff, and everyone's like, where do we get a copy of Titanic on VHS?
Yeah, where is it? Yeah.
And boom,
it's 1998 again. Like, I need a copy of Titanic on VHS. I think he's trying to buy enough copies of Titanic to get Celine Dion to notice him and be like, yo,
that's brilliant.
I see you.
That's fucking brilliant. So Barbara's a frequent watcher. Hi, Barbara. Thank you very much for watching tonight. I always thought it was because of Keith, but clearly not.
Clearly not. Obviously, I'm a bit of a draw myself. Are you in Nova Scotia, Barbara? Is that your hometown? Is that where you hang?
That is where she hangs, I'm pretty sure. Or I'm just speaking out of turn.
That's in like Canada or Greenland or something, right?
I'm pretty sure it's Greenland. I'm pretty sure. I haven't looked recently at a globe, but I'm pretty sure. My daughter appreciates you watching Amityville Horror with her. She does that. Of course she does.
Yeah. Was that like sarcasm?
No, not at all. That was finally like one that she enjoyed. I've tried a few different movies with her in regards to horror, and that was the one that finally stuck.
That's the one that did it.
What up?
I got in a little bit of trouble today with my wife. Just a spot. Like, that's the type of thing my wife would say sarcastically. Like, I really appreciate you watching that with our daughter, but like, I don't appreciate it at all, and you shouldn't be showing that kind of filth to our daughter. I showed my daughter this morning, and then I was dumb enough to tell my wife that I showed it to her. But I showed my daughter that sketch. It's a sketch from like early 90s SNL. Kevin Nealon, Dennis Miller. It's Weekend Update. And the sketch is Greenland. I'm sorry. I am an idiot.
Illiterate.
I also never learned to read.
Just what are words? What are letters? Numbers?
I have a globe, and then I filled it with M80s and I blew it up in my backyard at 4th. So that's how I feel about that globe. It's a flat Earth, all right? It's not even round. I blew that globe up. No.
We'll go back.
I'm spitting too much fire. So it's the all-drug Olympics held in Bogota, Colombia, and that was the sketch. The Olympians were allowed to do as much drugs as they wanted before, during, and after the competition. So in the sketch, the guy's trying to deadlift 1 million pounds or whatever, and he rips his own arms off. And it's fake. It's obviously very fake. It's like 1993 SNL, like fake, very fake. But he's like grabbing the thing and he's pulling, and he's like, and then he rips, and the arms stay on the bar. And there's like fake red paper and like a little bit of stuff spraying out. And Kevin Nealon's like, oh my God, he ripped his arms off. And my wife is like, you showed that to our daughter? I was like, yeah, she thought it was hilarious. It's like obviously very fake. My daughter's like, I'm going to have nightmares. And I was like, Doug, you're not making this better.
Shut the fuck up. She's like, Dad,
she fucks with me. Even at 5 years old, she fucks with me. She's like, I'm going to have nightmares. And that was not what my wife wanted to hear. My wife was like, did that James Franco GIF thing where she's like,
oh man. So
Terrible.
really quickly, just because I know exactly who you are, and these people
Yeah.
may not, explain a tiny bit. You are an educated man. We make lots of jokes about illiteracy and the wrong side of the tracks and all that, but you are definitely anything but that. Tell them a little bit about your background and what you're doing, what you're in school for, that type of thing. Really.
Yeah, I am, in addition to being an idiot who live streams his own idiocy on YouTube, go check me out at Pop Culture Mass, where I talk about movies, and I'm an idiot. I do talk like an idiot. But in addition to having a film theory degree from the University of Georgia, which is why I talk about movies on my podcast, like, you could never tell I actually am educated on my show at Pop Culture Mass on YouTube. If you're on YouTube right now, just go to just do the little Pop Culture Mass, boom, go hit subscribe right now, Barbara. I'll mail you something in Greenland. I'll send it right to Greenland, right?
It's just
I'll go root through my backyard and find where I blew up that globe. I'll find the little piece of Greenland and I'll send it to you in an envelope. All you got to do is sub to my peasant YouTube channel.
Yep.
Anyway, I just graduated with a master's degree in nutrition science, which is like on the other side of the flat Earth from film theory, but like also I have an art degree too. I drew a lot of naked people in the early 2000s, and I'm working on my PhD. I do not have a PhD yet, and it might be not ethical for me to claim to be a doctor or a PhD because I have not yet obtained that, although that is part of the plan to get the PhD. But I'm actually going to do a dietetic internship first. That's going to begin at the start of the year. So my next educational step is the dietetic internship, and once I've proved myself to be thoroughly inept at that, I'm going to do a PhD.
But by the way, I just want to call attention to it. You know how when we do our show every other Sunday, if you guys ever get a chance, New England Natives, check us out.
New England Natives. I'm neither a Native American nor a New Englander, but for some reason I qualify to be a co-host of that show.
I mean, you're from Alabama or Georgia, and
I'm from like 100% Norwegian from Georgia.
Just the whitest thing in the world.
Just 100% Norwegian. If you couldn't tell from the last name Almy, that's not actually Mexican. A lot of people are like, that's some kind of Mexican name. At least I got that in Georgia a lot. They're like, Almy, that's some kind of Mexican name. I'd say no. Norwegian,
baby.
Norwegian, like fucking Anna and Elsa.
And they are Norwegian, aren't they? I never thought about that.
Scandinavian as fuck.
I never think about the.
We're related to Elsa. We got that Elsa blood.
I've got that Elsa. She's like, let it go, let it go.
They swing that shit they get on the swings in the backyard, and they just swing back and forth. You can't find app pop culture. If you do the youtube.com/@ use the little @ and then Pop Culture Mass, POPCULTUREMASS, like, because I'm Catholic, and that should take you right there.
What we'll do is
I've finally been banned.
What we'll do is
my liberal use of racial and ethnic slurs.
What we'll do is once this is over with, we'll tag the tag the channel for you, so that way you can get that sweet credits. I'm not a New England native either. As my wife points out on a pretty consistent basis. She likes to remind me. She's like, "You're just a dirty flatlander." I'm from New York. Like, I'm so sorry. Culture is part of my life.
What part of New York are you from again? Remind the viewer.
The white trashiest part, Poughkeepsie. It's like not fancy. There's no Broadway, but lots of drugs.
Like Amish people near there?
I think so, because I think it's all part of that like Dutch County type situation. Like when you think about Sleepy Hollow, it's like that type of area where it's like lots of white people, lots of trailers, lots of meth, that type of thing.
Actually, sounds pretty nice to me.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, why'd we leave? Like, I bet you it's the skyrocketing. So I'm not a New England native either, but I just want to point out the fact that this is what it looks like when people actually watch the show live. I've never seen that before. You see the numbers.
It's such a tug of war between you wanna talk to all the people that are there, you want to put all the comments up, but at the same time, for anybody who's not listening to this live, like later on down the line, for this to have like a life, it's like also know, you want to keep the topic going as well. It's always finding that, like, that walking that tightrope of like,
what fan interaction between fan interaction and trying to entertain. It's a really sharp-edged, dual-sided sword.
Is Shoshana claiming to have Native American blood? Is that
She is. Yeah. She's claiming some stuff right now. She's culturally appropriating some things right this second. No, she's claiming that she's a New England native. But that's okay though, because I didn't marry my first cousin, so it's okay. Freaking, so what made you interested in like people's diets and like the human body like that? Because when I'm interested in the human body too, but usually it's phallic and milk comes out of them.
You're interested in the human body, but it's eating ass, and that's disgusting. That is gross. A. B. Nutritionally, it is not sound. Okay, you're gonna introduce parasites to your system. That's how you get tapeworm. I'm just saying. Okay? That's a gastrointestinal parasite. You don't want that. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to try to give you a shorter answer to that question, just in case you don't want to hear the really long. So when I was like, I don't know, 15, I started doing Chinese martial arts, like very seriously, like 3 or 4 times a week. I trained for hours every week. I traveled to China in 2001, and I went to the Shaolin Temple. I've got a picture of me on a yak in Tibet. I'll find a picture of me at the Shaolin Temple, and I'll prove it. I don't have one on my person at this moment because it's like it's pre-digital. But so I trained in Kung Fu for like a really long time, and so like part of that, like it's very like you can go very in depth. Like part of the Chinese martial arts tradition is like connection to Buddhism. Yeah. So, you kind of have to study that as well. That is the best possible. Like your screen froze as you were blowing out all this smoke, and it was the best possible freeze frame ever. That was so lit. The way it froze on you, just like casually.
I'm a dragon. Well, you were bragging about your like connection to the East, and I was like, I have connections to the East. I have Chinese food pretty frequently.
Yeah, watch me. I had General Tso earlier tonight.
Oh, what up? It's General
I'm
Tao.
basically 75% straight up Chinese.
I took a 23andMe.
I had lo mein 3 times last week.
I took a 23andMe yesterday, and my blood type is fried rice. So,
my blood type is soy sauce. So,
what up? Salt.
My blood type is teriyaki, bitch.
Oh, teriyaki. I don't know if that's Chinese though.
No, teriyaki is Japanese. Yaki is Japanese for like grilled. Like anything that's been yakied means it's been grilled over a flame. And like yakitori. Yakitori is literally grilled bird.
So you're telling us that the sauce section in the store, for my reference, Walmart, is lying to us this whole time. I've always thought it was a flavor, not an actual like thing,
teriyaki sauce is the sauce that's meant to be consumed with, like those grilled items.
Oh,
so like that's why they call it teriyaki sauce. It's for things that have been like grilled to perfection over a flame.
Is it like everything else that we assume? Has it been like bastardized and Americanized to a place where it's unrecognizable?
But you know what? What the thing that most people don't really think about is like they think we just culturally appropriate and it's one directional. Like we go visit Japan or China or some Eastern, Oriental, mysterious thing, and we like, oh hey, this is pretty good. I'm gonna take this and take it over to America. And I'm going to totally jack off like high fructose corn syrup, and I'm going to sprinkle like way more sodium in this fucking shit and high fructose corn syrup. And then we're going to dip our McDonald's French fries in that shit. And the thing is, it goes both ways. So like we fuck it up with sugar and high fructose corn syrup. And some Japanese dude is like, wait a minute, you guys are on to something. This is good. And they take it back. So like when you go to a store, like I was at the Asian grocery actually today.
We're getting back with your roots.
I went to the Asian grocery today because I was making oyakodon for dinner tonight. I can sound like an idiot. But yeah, so like all of the stuff that's like straight up imported, like like fresh off the boat from China and Thailand and Vietnam and Japan. It's like you look at it, it's like water, high fructose corn syrup. It's like, oh, we did this to them. Like
Yeah,
this is American imperialism. Like you fuckers are gonna get fat too. We're planting McDonald's right here on your soil. You're gonna eat it 4 times a day, and we're putting high fructose corn syrup in all of your shit. So we can't get off the topic of nutrition, and that's probably why I started studying.
So because we can't colonize anything anymore, now we're colonizing via fucking high fructose corn syrup. We're like, here you go, boom, America, little flag. I have not seen that video, Barbara, but I'll tell you one thing. I know what I'm looking up as soon as I'm done.
I know exactly what I'm looking up. So why did they pour the Coke on it? Was it to like they like wanted to see if something would go crawling out?
I bet you it has something to do with like the high fructose corn syrup itself, or maybe like one of the other special ingredients. Definitely not the cocaine. They took that out of it.
Yeah, it works. I have definitely used Coca-Cola. In fact, I used cherry Coke. I used cherry Coke to spray. I put it in a spray bottle with a little bit, like about a shot's worth of apple cider vinegar. Mm-hmm. I spray my pork butt with that for like 10 hours while it's in the smoke. It's great. You just open the thing and you spray it. It keeps the moist, and it adds that sugary Coca-Cola flavor to the pork butt. And I didn't see no parasites, thankfully. That was a delicious pork butt.
I remember the first time I ever saw anybody use Coke for anything, pretty much cooking wise, was we were at a friend's house and they were making shredded pork tacos, and she put Coke in there, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, this is recipe blah blah." And I was like, "Okay," but it was like one of those things where you're at like you're a guest at somebody's house, you don't want to be like, "Ew, fucking get that goddamn Coke out of that pork butt and put it in my cup of ice." Yeah. Pretty please.
Pour that on top of vodka or something. What are you doing? You don't pour that on pork.
Okay, so Barbara says it brings them to the top. It is gross. They wiggle and they are thin and white. I know something else thin and white. What up? My dignity.
Yeah.
WC. Food's inherently gross anyways. We do so much stuff to it to make it like palatable by any stretch of the imagination. Like we just do so many crazy little things.
Yeah, I mean, I think like we spend a lot of time. There's a lot of time that gets devoted talking about like the things that we shouldn't eat, like specifically single nutrients, where people will say, oh, like you shouldn't eat fat. Fat is terrible. Or people, like a lot of times these days, people are like, oh, like carbohydrate. You should never eat carbohydrate. Carbohydrate is terrible. Keto is the way to go. It's the healthy way to be. Blah blah blah. And I think by and large, really the big thing is avoiding like highly processed foods. Stuff that's like very like it's like a convenience store food, or like if it comes from a gas station or a vending machine or like a restaurant fast food type of place, like that's food that has been we call it ultra processed. That's like technical
fancy.
Go from the business. Yeah, it's called ultra processed because there are like levels of processing, right? Like bread, like whole wheat bread is pretty good for you, but it's processed. Like it was a wheat growing out of the ground, and we had to like take the wheat and we had to like mill it, and we had to mix it with like flour and some salt and a little bit of egg, and not flour, water and salt and a little bit of egg or whatever to make the bread. It's like minimally processed. Most stuff is going to be at least a little bit processed unless all you do is eat. And there are some people that do this, like raw fruit and vegetables and like raw dairy and shit like that. So I don't know. Yeah. So keto long term, because you are exposing yourself to very high intake of saturated fats. And all of the research, I know people like the big keto people are like, oh, no, like they get offended. But all of the research that exists still indicates that large intake of saturated fat is not great for your cholesterol and your hearts, like over a long period of time. So while I do think I do think it's smart to lower your carbohydrate intake, especially if you consume simple carbohydrate, processed carbohydrate, sugars, etc. Like I'll defend carbohydrate, but usually what I'm talking about is like eat a couple of fruit every day, eat some whole grains. If you have brown rice and beans or something like that can be very healthy. You're getting a lot of fiber. It's a low glycemic impact carbohydrate it's not going to fuck you up like Sour Patch Kids are going to fuck you up, right? Like those are no good for you. But in an ideal world, you're eating a lower carbohydrate load, and your carbohydrates are very like minimally processed, very natural, and very high in fiber, very low in sugar. Added sugars, look for that on labels. Labels have to tell you how much added sugar is in the product now, which is great because that distinguishes between the naturally occurring sugars that you might find in a piece of fruit and sugar that is added to the product as high fructose corn syrup or whatever else they got. Glucose, dextrose, whatever.
All the oses. So Barbara, I will definitely do that. I will just tell you this much for freezies. It's not always this.
No.
It is ever so often just a little sprinkle of some good stuff, which is good because you class up the joint and make us sound far more educated. Barbara, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes we say stupid things because we're a couple of stupid boys that like to hear ourselves talk. We will definitely post it. Just for love of goodness, don't stop watching this show because you hear me say something stupid, which I have done on occasion.
No.
The reason that Shona said that about keto though is because like she does not like it when I do the keto diet at all.
But it clearly works for you. Like I have observed the changes in your body weight and physique when you apply the keto diet. So
I try to do it not crazy long periods of time because I do know that massive intake of freaking high fats is not good for your body. Yeah. I think it's beneficial because it keeps me in check. I try to do it like once or twice a year just to get myself back down to like the 180 range, and then I can let myself get fat again, which is okay.
Yeah, so they call that yo-yo dieting. Have you heard of yo-yo dieting? Because the yo-yo goes down and then you pull it back up and then it goes down and back up. And so it's sort of like someone's weight. Someone's weight goes down and then someone's weight comes back up. And that's, I don't know if it's better to just be like fat year round versus like I'm going to lose weight and I'll spend some time at a lower weight, but then I'll resume my previous body weight and then I'll lose weight. So I'm at least spending some time at a lower weight. I don't know what's better. Like, I don't know if there's any research out there that examines the difference between like how health markers, if somebody's just remains at an elevated body weight versus somebody who like spends some of the year at a lower body weight and then some of the year at an elevated body weight. I mean, I have to imagine it's better for you to like, be a little bit lighter at least some of the time.
Oh yeah.
Because BMI is still like, obviously there's a lot of discussion that goes into like body fat and like, is there a way to be like elevated BMI fat, but still healthy? And so, yeah, I think like, maybe, but I also think, from the research, having a lower BMI is definitely, that 23, 24 BMI is associated with all of the better outcomes and longevity than I'm just BMIs, so
I'm just not fantastic at maintaining it long periods of time. I do very well for the first 2 months after I'm done with keto. I will break the keto by celebrating by having something like tasty and stupid, not good for me, which
Krispy
makes my body. Oh God, just put me on that conveyor belt. I'll just go.
Yeah, thing. I know. Like, dip me into that conveyor belt. I told you about that guy I harassed, right?
Please.
I think they banned me from that Krispy Kreme location. I think they're like, dude, don't come back, dude. You're not like, they had my face on the wall. Like, this man comes to the drive-thru and starts asking you to like start putting things underneath that conveyor belt. Like, don't call the police, get him out of here. Like, I harassed that gentleman one night because I was like, how do you have a conveyor belt that dumps liquid sugar 24/7? You push one button and it dumps liquid sugar. How have you not just brought things from home and just run them under that conveyor belt? Can you imagine, like, you go get those get the hot fries from McDonald's.
Oh, shit.
You dump those out on a little tray and you run those underneath there. And now they're salty, they're crispy, but they've also been glazed with Krispy Kreme glaze. Dude, that's peak America right there, dog.
America.
That's what you do on July 4th to celebrate America.
I mean, I'm gonna go for that. I just imagine you being on the least wanted poster on that one particular one. Like we do not let this gentleman in. He sticks things in the glaze.
Yes.
So
he has violated that glaze machine so many times.
Oh my goodness.
It was like that kid had no creativity though. I was like, haven't you ever thought of like just bringing stuff in and just putting it under there? And he's like, no.
He's
like,
no.
What are you doing with your life? Like, you don't think outside the box. You don't think, what if I just stuck my whole hand under there and glazed my whole hand?
Oh God, glazed hand.
Third-degree burns from hot glaze.
It's worth it. It's the good kind of hurt. It's like the first time you go for pegging and you don't necessarily like it. It's a new sensation. All of a sudden you're like, oh, I like things.
Like you made a deal with your wife, so you got to go through with it. I understand.
Yeah. Hairbrushes.
We've all been there.
So I do got to talk really quick. Before, I pulled up 3 things to maybe talk about, but I want to go. I want to go back to the horror movie with the daughter of it all really quick because I did finally
go back.
So like I said, I watch horror movies with her. Depending on what they are, I tend not to watch anything with obscene amounts of nudity or anything along those lines because we're still, that's not the. I don't want to cross that bridge.
Though it's the human body, it's natural. God created it, and it's beautiful. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to look at it. We know that's bad.
I don't want to explain to my daughters, be like, so everybody knows her boyfriend's a loser. How come they're letting him do that to her? I'm like, no reasons. He's just bad choices. This is why you go to school. But I was watching, I wasn't watching a horror movie the other night. I was watching Chernobyl on HBO Max, which I've seen before. Good. Oh, it's fantastic. It's horrifyingly fantastic. And it's just, because it's true. Anyone that does not know what Chernobyl is, I mean, it's probably past your bedtime. Might as well turn this off. But Chernobyl is a town in the Ukraine, which back in 1986, it was actually April 26, 1986. And I only remember that for 2 reasons. One is just really on the show. 2, that's the day before my kid's birthday. So I'm like, wow, weird. But Chernobyl is a place in the Ukraine. They have they had a nuclear facility there, nuclear power plant, and through a lot of mistakes and mishaps and blunders, they basically almost destroy the entire continent of Russia. And I don't mean like they, if it would have blown up, just the whole thing wipes off math. What I'm talking about is it almost melted down is what the term is, which means that the fusion reaction that was going on, or not the fusion, it's the what the heck
fission.
Fission. Thank you. It's the nuclear fission.
Cool.
Yeah, heck yeah, you did. So they were trying to do a test on what happens if it goes to a loss of power. Now, what ended up happening was that the entire core shut down, and because there was a spike in the electricity because of the test, it basically blew the core out. And it's just an obscene amount. I like the word obscene tonight, by the way.
Yeah.
It's just insane.
I like obscenity.
Obscenity's good. Yes, absolutely. Amazing fission. Yes, absolutely, Barbara. I completely agree.
Was it like a documentary? I thought it was like
they have bits and pieces.
Okay.
Of it sprinkled in there. Like they do take some real stuff, but the thing kind of like concentrates on a couple of the major scientists that were involved. But hold on, let me finish and then we'll go back to that.
Yeah.
So it shows like, the aftermath, like who they tried blaming. Of course, this is like happening during Cold War, Soviet Union, like, comrade, very much communist country and all that jazz. And so they weren't really telling anybody about it, so much so that when the event actually initially happened, all the board members were meeting with Gorbachev and all them and the military people, and they were making jokes like, oh, I hear it's like getting like 2 x-rays at once, and they're like, no, it's like getting like 4,000 x-rays every second, you dummies. So with that being said, they did an amazing job telling the story, but they also did an amazing job with the makeup. They show some serious things.
Yeah, radiation poisoning does really gnarly things.
Oh, dude, like they really encapsulated the horror of like being irradiated like that. So
it's like it's like body horror. Like you mentioned horror films. Mm-hmm. When you start seeing that really like extreme deformation, that while it's realistic, it's still something that you don't encounter normally on a day-to-day basis. It does start to hit that level of like almost David Cronenberg style body horror where it's like, oh.
So in one of those David Cronenberg horror scenes. She was coming out of her room. Like, I got the boys down to bed because I couldn't watch it until they went to sleep. And she's coming out of her room. She didn't have school yet. All the kids are back in school now. This was the day before she went back to school. She comes out and she's like, "What are you watching?" I was like, "Oh, Chernobyl." And she's like, "What's that?" And I had to explain everything about Chernobyl and all that type of stuff. Really quick, abbreviated version because I was watching the show still. And she's like, "Oh, can I watch it?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then she sits down and they're going to the scene where one of the firefighters that were first on scene were in the hospital. His pregnant wife's with him, and they show him like in the very late stages of radiation sickness and poisoning, and he's got like white patchy skin and like all sorts of like horrific attributes going on right this second. And she's like, "This really happened?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, that's scary." I was like, "Oh yeah, kid. Like, out of all the things we've watched together, all the scary things, this is the most terrifying right here because this is real."
Yeah, dude, but radiation poisoning is like, that's real. Like, I mean, you can watch horror movies and sort of disconnect yourself from it because it's like killer clowns from outer space. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. Like, that doesn't enter into the realm of possibility, but it's like some shit. I mean, like, I know people who would watch certain horror movies. If it was like a ghost movie or if it was like aliens, it was fine. But like the minute it was like some crazed, deranged serial killer, it entered the realm of like, this could actually happen. It's very frightening to me because it's like, this is something I could potentially deal with, as rare as it may be. And radiation sickness is one of them things. It's like, holy shit. Like, you know, if shit gets a little out of control, I mean, in real life, in the real world, politically or whatever, shit gets a little out of control. Like, North Korea finally decides to nuke Japan, and China decides to wipe Taiwan off the map. And it's like, shit starts getting real.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, dude, even if nukes aren't going off in your front yard, the idea that like this radiation, there's this tremendous amount of radiation and it's going to like blow over this wide geographical swath and you're gonna fucking catch some shit. It really reminds you how important your DNA is, you know?
Oh, absolutely, because that's like the biggest thing I had explained.
With DNA,
bro. Well, that was the thing I had explained to her. She's like, "Well, what's it do exactly? Does it burn you like fire?" I was like, "No, that's the scary part. You don't see it. It travels right through you at the speed of light, and it basically breaks down your DNA from the inside out, and you just start falling apart."
Yeah. So free radicals, I mean, like, this is a nutrition concept, right? Like, obviously we talk about nutrition a lot in terms of weight loss, weight maintenance, but like free radicals is something that we encounter. Like, yeah, radiation is like, it's on steroids. It's like a huge amount, but like even just normal metabolism, just regular metabolism that your body undergoes, particularly cellular respiration, the Krebs cycle, there are byproducts of this metabolism that, it does create like free radicals. And that can be bad, right? So like even certain dietary patterns are more closely associated with cancers because of the fact that they create free radicals, or they don't incorporate enough of like agents like vitamin C is a big antioxidant, and vitamin E. There are a few like vitamins, minerals that act as antioxidants too, and part of their role is like preventing this damage long term. That's just like normal part of life is like there's going to be this waste byproduct, and it's not just like I got to piss, I got to shit. It's like there's waste at a microscopic, like a molecular, very small molecule level. And so what happens with the radiation is like all the free radicals that are produced, I mean, it starts binding to your DNA. Like DNA actually has to like unravel in order to replicate and create proteins. So like DNA is like a zipper, like you're wearing a hoodie with a zipper, right? And like when it's zipped up, it's cool. The teeth are all together, but like you have to unzip it to take it off and do shit with that. But like when you ever had like a hoodie where the zipper breaks and like doesn't zip up right, and it unzips from the bottom, and it's like, man, I gotta throw this thing away because it doesn't do the thing. That's when your DNA gets fucked up. If you start like DNA, it opens up to start building proteins, build RNA, and then the RNA builds proteins. But you start getting DNA damage. Like you got free radicals that are now going to bind to this DNA selectively, and it's going to just pop it's like breaking the zipper. It's like breaking the little teeth off the zipper, and now your zipper doesn't fucking work anymore. You gotta throw that whole thing away. And so and that radiation poisoning, dude, like you said, it'll flow right through you, because we're not talking about massive particles that'll bounce off you. We're talking about tiny particles that are, like smaller than an atom in some cases with that radiation. It's like single particles that are like fucking like almost quantum level particles that they fuck you up, and no amount of vitamin C, no dietary intervention is going to bring you back from that level of exposure. Whereas I would say eating a varied diet filled with fruits and vegetables does help prevent that naturally occurring free radicals that occur as a natural part of cellular respiration, particularly in the mitochondria. Eat fruits and vegetables, guys. That'll prevent cancer. There's a reason we do this.
The scene that probably like scared me the most in Chernobyl was it had nothing to do with body horror. It had nothing to do with the turmoil or the depression that was kind of going through, like the things they had to do to prevent this disaster from affecting the rest of the world, and of course Russia. There was the scene when the core melted down and exploded, and the graphite and everything was everywhere, and all these people, because they live just outside of Chernobyl power plant, like it's essentially like if anyone has like an IBM or a major manufacturing plant around them, the town kind of surrounds it because they benefit from electricity,
builds up economically.
Exactly. So like they always generally have a town or something associated really close right next to them, and all these families saw the fire, and one of the main characters, the fireman, he's not in the whole thing, spoiler, radiation, and so one of the neighbors knock on the fireman's girlfriend's door, and they're like, hey, do you want to come watch the fire? We're going to the bridge to go watch it. And she's like, oh, no, I'll stay in here, which was a smart choice. All these people, families, kids, all sorts of people are at this bridge, which is pretty dang far away from the fire. It's you can only see it glowing in the distance. But all of a sudden, in the middle of I think it's the summer, maybe spring, when this happened, all of a sudden little flakes start dropping, and it's the nuclear fallout from all the debris and everything from the explosion, and it's coming down. All those little particles have radiation of high amounts, and you just watch this dad pick up his baby because they're watching a thing together as family, and he takes down her hood, and the baby's face is up in the sky, and you can see touching. Oh man, no, terrifying. It was good, oh my goodness, dude, it was just some of the worst.
Thing is, if you get that radiation, if there's nuclear fallout, you want to cover your skin. You want it's just like UV radiation, right? Like we talk about getting sunburn, that's radiation as well, right? Ultraviolet radiation does the same shit. It's on a much smaller scale, but when you get sunburnt, you're talking about, it's not just I touched something hot, my skin is fucked up. Now that ultraviolet radiation actually can impact you at that same DNA level and create this free radical damage. And so it's the same thing. You want to cover up to prevent a sunburn. The best way to prevent a sunburn, besides staying inside, is cover yourself, wear long sleeves, wear a hat, shit like that. And so, man, when there's that nuclear fallout, you want to get inside, obviously.
Oh yeah.
You want to get inside. You want to rinse off, take a shower, cleanse your skin if any of your skin was exposed. But honestly, you don't want to be taking that hood off, man.
Oh no. Well, there was also the scene where they couldn't because there's radiation not only hurts people and DNA, it also can destroy electronics like microprocessors and things like that. Yeah. And they were trying to figure out how they could get all the graphite, which has the most radiation, but with the exception of the elephant's foot. And anyone that doesn't know what the elephant's foot, look it up on Google. It's terrifying. It's a picture. They have all the slag and everything that coagulated and kind of was being pushed out from the freaking explosion, and they call it the elephant's foot because they got this picture with a robot that basically has all this stuff just kind of glumped up together and all nasty looking, and is the most deadly substance in the world because it would kill you in seconds. You go there, you are gonna die no matter what. That being said, they had to figure out how to get this graphite off the roof, because they were talking about how to contain it, and they were going to put like this big container over it, which is what they end up doing. Spoiler alerts, in real life, they put a big container over it to kind of stop the leaking of the radiation. And they brought the like 2 really cool robots, and the robot made it like 2 or 3 passes that looks like a little bulldozer, and it just stopped dead, because all the microprocessors and the microchips and everything, all the electronics just fried from all the radiation. So do you know what their alternative was and how they got that graphite out? They called it bio robots is what they called it. And they were just trying to say it nicely for people. They had soldiers, go up there with shovels, and they had like this whole list. They had this whole like thing of rules where like you can only spend 90 seconds out there.
Yeah.
They only let you go out once, and you'd go out there, try to get as much as you can, and get it off on the side and put it in the core so they could.
I heard about that. I haven't seen Chernobyl, but I did read about that. Like they had a certain limited amount of time, because you had to minimize the exposure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's wild.
And the only reason I'm even mentioning this is because you were talking about wanting to be covered up and all that stuff. So in this 90 seconds, which is done in real time, which is horrifying, the guys go out there in the suits. They have lead covers and stuff. They go out there, get a couple shovels, and they're obviously hot. They're sweating. They're fogging up their really crappy 1980s masks that they're trying to wear, and the 2 guys make it back perfectly fine. The other guy gets his boot snagged on something, and he's trying to like rip it. He falls into the water and the graphite. He gets back up and he's like, okay, and he just keeps going, and then he falls into another puddle, and that's when he sees that he has 2 rips in his boots from getting stuck. And you're like, oh my, he just signed his death warrant. It was crazy. I don't know. So I
your
normally
kids got part of this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's good. You got to be scared by that type of stuff. You got to know what's real. That's the thing, is like there's lots of things that aren't real, but there's plenty of things to be terrified of that really exist, and it's kind of important to know. And plus, if you don't know your history, you're bound to repeat it. Winston Churchill said that, or Jason did. One of you guys said that.
Yeah.
Normally the show goes an hour and a half. We're not gonna do an hour and a half tonight, guys. I'm very sorry about that. I kind of yanked Jason away from his sleeping child as he was trying to.
Once those kids are asleep, I mean, the kid's asleep.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually looked down to make sure I didn't have any angry messages from my wife, like, "Hey, you did that
you piece of shit."
She's still crying. It's all good in the hood, man. I once they're asleep, I got time.
Okay, so I'll let you pick the first thing we're gonna talk about here. We can either talk about famous TV chefs that we find, and we're gonna talk about if they're overrated or they deserve the recognition they get. Recognition. Or we can talk about. Tom didn't look at his phone. What about my phone? What am I looking at? No, I did not.
His phone to see if his wife was sending him angry messages. That
I did not, because I am doing the show, and I think she's home by now. I don't know. I'm in my office. So it's either we're going to talk about famous chefs, or we're going to talk about the astronauts that are stuck in space right now.
I heard a little bit about that, but I don't know much about that.
Okay, all right, well, that's gonna help. Or we can talk about the 15 most infamous serial killers, and whether or not people adore them or hate their guts. So we can go with one of these 3, and you decide. You take the first pick.
Let's go with, God, I'm tempted by the serial killers, but I don't think we could get through 15 serial killers before 8 tomorrow morning.
All right, so should we go with the astronauts? Should we learn a little something?
Let's talk about the chefs. Let's keep it nutritional.
Okay. All right.
At least then I can complain that they make food that's bad.
Okay. So I have there's a whole list. It's just off of Google. I'm just gonna start listing them. If we don't know who they are, we can kind of move past them. If we know little bits about them, we can, kind of like go back and forth. And food
I don't know if they're overrated though, because I don't think I've ever eaten the food made by a professional chef.
No, but I think we have both seen like the episodes or whatever they're kind of like, present on TV. So we could probably base it off of that and
Yeah,
knowledge.
Sort of Emerald.
Okay, so let's start first. Rachel Ray. Rachel Ray.
Man. All right, I got. I love that you started with Rachel Ray. Bro, I got opinions about Rachel Ray. I feel like I was just living my life and I was happy as a clam. And I was just bebopping through the grocery store, and it was like 2004, and I was like putting things in my cart. Here's some milk. I'm gonna get a little cheese. Here's some ham. I was like, just fucking. Here's a Caesar salad, kid. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm just like Kobe, like just shooting across and like nailing it. And then I feel like one day I went into the grocery store, and this Rachel Ray lady was on every piece of food item. I was like. She's on the Ritz crackers. She's on the Tostitos chips bag. She's on the thing of Apple Jacks. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Like she's on a ton of things. It's not just food either.
I was like, who is this Rachel Ray lady? It was like circa 2005, 2006. So it was a long time ago. First of all, first of all, she came out of nowhere. And I was like, who is this lady? And I did not consent to her being all over my food.
I did not say yes to this.
And I would appreciate if y'all had asked me first. Second, the fact that it's 2024, it's been 20 years almost since she appeared on every food package I ever bought. Why am I still going into Walmart and seeing cat food with Rachel Ray? It says Rachel Ray cat food on the cat food.
Which makes you
become a veterinarian. When did she become the expert on what to feed my cats? They're obligate carnivores. Do you know what cats eat? Are you feeding them processed grain?
Which brings up the really valuable question. Is she testing this cat food that she's putting out? How does she know if it's good or not? Like, does she say yummo? And then you see that I know her catchphrase. What up? I know things.
I don't know her catchphrase, but
yummo. That was it. Yummo. It wasn't any good. So we're gonna say Rachel Ray is deserving of all the appreciation and stuff. Actually, really
I don't know because you know what? My impression of Rachel Ray, despite the fact that I did not consent to her being on all my packaging, and B, I don't think she has any qualifications to produce cat food or dog food. I still feel like she would be a nice person. Like I feel like she would see this pot. Like her assistant would be like, "Hey, these two dudes, these two guys, they're total assholes and maybe dipshits too. They talked about you on a podcast last night, and I just happened to see it randomly." And she would like call. She would like find out the guy's phone number. She would like call me on the phone and be like, "Hey, like I heard you were bagging on me and complaining about this cracker box. Can we go to coffee?" And she would we would wind up having this conversation, and she would come across, instead of getting defensive and jumping up my ass and be like, "Well, yeah, you're stupid. I'm on a Ritz cracker box 20 years ago. What have you done with your life, jackass? You're 50 years old. You're going to go get a PhD? Get out of town. You're going to die of a heart attack before you get a PhD. Get out of here with your keto shit." Instead of being like that, I think Rachel Ray would just be perfectly sweet. She'd be like, "Yo, hey, here's a recipe. Share this with your daughter. And look, your kids are so cute. I want to kiss their foreheads." I think Rachel Ray would I think I would turn around after one coffee with her. I think she would turn me around and I'd be like, "Dude, Rachel Ray is the sweetest person."
That's what I hear.
My daughter, yeah, I think so. I think she's probably a good person. So, and I don't wish any ill on her. I just wish that she wasn't on my Ritz cracker box.
So I just looked up her Wikipedia just so I could figure it out. I want to know how she became famous. This is from the years of 1996 to 2004. Moving back to the Adirondacks, New York, Ray managed Mr. Brown's Pub at Sagamore, a hotel on Lake George. From there, she became a buyer of Cohen and Lobel, a gourmet market in Albany. Ray credits the concept of 30-minute meals to her experience working at the store, where she met the people who were reluctant to cook. She taught a course which she showed how to make meals in less than 30 minutes. With the success of 30-minute meals classes, the local CBS TV affiliate asked her to appear on a weekly segment on the newscast. This, along with the public radio broadcast and the publication of her first book, led to the Today Show spot, which led to the Food Network in 2001. Wow. All right. So you know what?
We're talking about 2001. How old is Rachel Ray right now? What does her Wikipedia say?
I'm a gay fish. Just FYI. What'd you ask again, buddy?
How old is Rachel Ray currently? What does her
Rachel.
Wikipedia say? I'm assuming you're looking at her Wikipedia.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Rachel Ray was born. Where the heck is it?
It usually just straight up says her.
Right there. Sorry. She is 56 years old.
All right, so in 2001,
Yep.
let's just subtract 23 years. From 56, she would have been 33.
Yes. That math correlates.
It's actually kind of surprised. I would have figured she was 23 in 2001. So that's another compliment, honestly, to her, is that, like, I would have never guessed that she was 53 currently. I would have told you she was 37 right now.
Wow, really?
I mean, dude, like, I think she takes pretty good care of herself.
Oh, yeah.
Rich lady.
Yep.
She probably didn't have 8 kids, you know?
Mm.
She probably didn't smoke a lot of meth and live in a trailer. So I think she's probably, like, got pretty good skin and whatnot. She probably afford to eat, like, pretty healthy foods. So,
do you know what she says, though? She does say that asparagus really makes something smell bad. What was it? Oh, yeah. Yes, that's right. I completely forgot this entire time. I have access to all of Keith's stuff right here. It's right here on the next to me. So all the things. I have all the things right here. Watch this. Ready for this? Watch this.
What did you say?
Bam! I got it. It's right here. I forgot. Oh my goodness gracious.
That's excellent.
I will try to not play with it. I'm so sorry. I have too much power right now. I don't even know what to do with myself. So Rachel Ray, we're gonna give her kudos. Kudos to Rachel Ray. She gets
I will say, yeah, ultimately kudos to her. Like, I wish she wasn't like everywhere. Like, just one day I went to the grocery store and she was everywhere. But at the same time, she's probably a nice person. It's better than like going to your grocery store and it like Adolf Hitler's on everything, right? Like, that would be bad.
We
don't like that.
That'd be crazy.
That'd be really terrible to go to the grocery store and like suddenly I can't buy any of the food that I like because the guy Hitler on it. You know what I mean?
Oh my goodness gracious. That's not inclusive. Okay. Next one. Gordon Ramsay.
I mean, I gotta say I kind of like him because he's the idiot sandwich guy.
He is the idiot sandwich guy. Now, I pulled up his Wikipedia anyways, just because I wanted to have more facts. I kind of know how he got his start. He was just like, I know he's very well trained. He he trains with the French chefs. He trained with a whole bunch of people. I know it was like a smaller, because now I'm talking out my ass. British celebrity, blah. I want to go to early cooking career.
I don't understand how that's like new for you at all. It's just...
Upon his return to London in 1993, Ramsay was offered the position as head chef under chef patron Pierre Kaufman. It's a 3 Michelin star restaurant in Chelsea. Shortly thereafter, Marco Pierre White re-entered his life, offering him set up as the head chef position and 10% share, blah, 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 with Michelin stars, a dispute with business honors. Ramsay opened his own restaurant. The restaurant gained its 3rd Michelin star, making Ramsay the first Scot to ever achieve that. After establishing his first restaurant, his empire expanded rapidly. So he kept opening more restaurants, and then he began showing up on Hell's Kitchen because I think it was like a news broadcast of, that kind of like showed him just being high strung. Like, chefs are high strung. That's kind of like one of the things they're very well known for, is having a short fuse, especially when you have high expectations. Now, a Michelin star, for those that do not know, they're basically like the Oscar of the food world. Like, when you get a Michelin star, they are recognizing you for a few things. One, that you're using locally sourced ingredients, that you're following what's the word for like when you follow the season of food. Like, you're not just flying in tuna from Japan and doing that. You're using things that are responsible and good. And there's a few other marks of criteria that kind of establish a Michelin star. But I know that he got his Michelin stars. They put him on the news because of his short fuse, and that led to Hell's Kitchen. Now, I used to think that Gordon Ramsay was just a personality. Like, I knew he was a chef, but like, I didn't think he was actually any good until I saw this episode of, I think it was not Hell's Kitchen, clearly. It was the other one where he tries to save restaurants and all that type of stuff. Food Nightmares or Restaurant Nightmares. And he was on there. It was the British version. he went to this place that was they were having youth that were getting in a lot of trouble be the chefs and one head guy. And so Gordon goes in there, he tastes the food, and he says it's all hot garbage, including one dish, which was shark that had mozzarella cheese on it in marinara sauce. And he takes one bite and he sends it back. And the chef gets very offended. And he starts running his mouth to Gordon. He's like, you're just saying that, you don't like it because that's what you have to do. You're Gordon Ramsay. And then Gordon breaks down the proper way to cook shark and the reasons you have to do it that way. And he's like, you are like making it just so eloquent, so much better than I'm doing right now, mind you. And I was like, oh shit, Gordon Ramsay really knows his stuff. But the thing is, I don't know what I'm going to say in regards to the finale of our discussion, like the results of what we're going to decide, because Gordon Ramsay also is the guy that has restaurants that I can never afford to eat at, which is kind of
of course. Which you have to have if you're Gordon Ramsay. You're not like doing doner kebabs for $5, right? Even though that's what a Scot is eating like at this time of night.
What's the most have you ever tried like Scottish food? Like I can't think of one that's inherently Scottish besides what's that one with the sheep's belly and all that shit? Haggis. Yeah, haggis. I've never tried haggis.
I've never tried a haggis. I would try haggis. Why not? I mean,
yeah. Oh, fuck it.
Been in Rome.
Do what the Romans do, or San Diego, one of those.
San Diego, yeah.
So, are we saying
Wales,
Gordon Ramsay?
China.
Yes, it is. I didn't know you speak Spanish. So we're gonna say that Gordon Ramsay deserves it, but fuck you for not making food that we can afford.
Yeah. Like,
all right. Guy Fieri.
Oh my god, this fucking guy.
So I don't know terrible. All right, you know what? Tell me what you think about him while I look him up really quick, so I can kind of.
I think fucking monster douche.
Really?
Have you seen that guy's face and head?
Yeah, of course.
Sunglasses on the back of his head when he's in diners, drive-ins, and dives. And so that's first of all, is that he's like bleached. Everything's frosted. It's like he did the frosted tips thing in the 90s and then just got lower and lower. And it's just like everything's frosted, except like now he's got like the roots showing. And he's even like the weird mustache that's way too extra. Mm-hmm. And wearing his sunglasses on the back of his head back here. That's first of all. I don't like that.
Which is so dangerous because sunglasses fall off your head all the time. And I'm a guy that cares about sunglasses. I would never wear them on the back of my head.
I don't like his personal fashion or style at all.
Maybe he's scared.
His whole thing is like, I've got poor taste and everything.
Maybe he's like scared of tigers. You ever hear that the old saying that like the people wear masks on the back of their heads so tigers can't sneak up on them and all that stuff? Maybe he's scared of tigers.
I don't think a tiger gives a fuck. I think a tiger's like, okay, you can make eye contact with me while I rip your jugular out. I don't give a shit. I'm a 900-pound Bengal tiger. What are you going to do to me? You 170-pound Indian dude. You ain't going to do shit. You're my fucking chicken tikka masala tonight.
Oh, I love tikka masala.
Oh my god, yeah, tikka masala is the shit. So second, I'm jealous of him because he gets to drive around and eat all this food. Have you ever seen his show?
I have.
He like walks in the back of the kitchen. He's like, "So what are you making here?" And he gets a big old spoon and just starts eating it like a douchebag. And
this is an orphanage, Mr. Fieri. Please leave. Yeah. No. I want to judge this food. Let me see. Yeah. He's like, this is donkey sauce. He just throws it in the orphan's eyes. Yeah. Guy Fieri began his association with food in grade school. No one cares. He went to France to study. Good for him. Rich bastard. Upon returning, he returned to the restaurant The Red Lion in Eureka, California. Soon after graduating from college, he worked as a manager at Parker's Lighthouse, a Stouffer's restaurant. Oh, shit, Stouffer's, your mac and cheese sucks. After 3 years at Southern California, became the district manager of Louise's managing 6 locations. And then he received a Daytime Emmy Award for some sort of reason, because Outstanding Special Class Special. What the hell does that mean? That makes no damn sense. The only thing I know, the only thing that makes me like Guy Fieri, besides the fact that he probably deserves what he has, just being a nice guy. I never once heard that Guy Fieri is an asshole. Ever.
He's an asshole. I heard he's got a restaurant, and it's like $70 for a cheeseburger.
Okay, he's an asshole.
Yeah, fuck him.
Fuck. He's right.
He can go get fucked in Flavortown.
My God. He did come to Vermont one time, which I support.
He came to Maine and New Hampshire a couple times. Like he went to this spot that does like clams and fried oysters and shit. We took my parents there. Me and my wife took my parents there when they were in town from Georgia. I was like, "You want some seafood?" Guy Fieri, in all his douchiness, says that this place is fucking good. It's legit. Let's go get some fried clams.
Yeah, that's right. Keith's all right.
Hey,
See, I always get concerned because Keith, unlike you and me, Keith can actually be affected by saying negative things. About
like
people.
we shouldn't talk shit about Guy Fieri. He's a nice guy.
Well, not necessarily that, but like sometimes I don't know who Keith actually knows. Like ever so often, I'll be talking about something and Keith will be like, "Oh yeah, he's a nice guy," and I'm like, "You know him too? Like what the actual
that
fuck?"
Rachel Ray lady's a total bitch. Wait a minute, she's the godmother to my child being born
exactly.
tomorrow.
It happens. It can happen.
You say that about Rachel Ray?
Now he's also made it. Thank you, buddy. We love you too. Now, the thing is, he's also made it very, very clear that he doesn't want anyone to be like censored. He wants to say what we want to say, but I try not to insult people he might potentially be friends with. That's the one thing I try to not do. Yeah. But we're still going to continue this. Don't get wrong. We're definitely still continue this. He came to a restaurant in Vermont, and I actually love this because it's a restaurant that I support and love. There was this lady, I don't know what her nationality is, but she had a dumpling cart on Church Street in Burlington. That's like the major street. Yeah, it's these dumplings, dude. Like she would give you like a plate of 6 of them. I think it was like $4, $5 at the time, and they were phenomenal. The line was always like just way down the street. Like it was such a huge line. You were lucky if you got them, and she handmade these things every single day. Well, the reason that I love this part of it is because one day she finally raised up enough money to buy her own front. She has her own actual restaurant now where you can go buy them, and it's a great American story of like, you know, overcoming obstacles and just becoming. See that I said too many things about dumplings. Now Jason's like, I need dumplings. I have a whole plate of them right here. They're delicious.
I agree with my dumplings.
Oh, those are your testicles, sir. Those are not dumplings. I mean, you can dumpling them in my mouth if you want, but I demand some teriyaki sauce.
And I do. My wireless mic just decided to die. The battery on my wireless mic just decided to die. Like a true professional, my wireless mic is like, I did an hour, I'm out.
I'm like, it's not.
I just had to go. My mixer is like right over there, just outside of the camera screen, so you can't see it. But I had to go, make sure there was signal for this. Yeah. My backup mic, just in case my first mic decides to be a bitch. In case my first mic decides to be a Rachel Ray.
See what happens. What happens is like your mic is like a big Guy Fieri fan. It's like, I heard what you said. We're not allowing this anymore. Shut it down. Shut it all down. Freaking yeah. Keith's been wondering how we can get canceled, and that might be a way to get canceled, or it might be a way to earn money.
I think nudity on YouTube, I think that will get you pulled off of YouTube if you start.
Oh yeah. It's also,
you start showing, I think like if you show a nipple, actually, like even a dude nipple, which is typically okay, like at the pool, it's fine. It's perfecly PG. But if you start like doing it on YouTube, it's no bueno. I showed a gun. It was July 4th, and I used to have a studio. I didn't always do this in my basement, but like my studio, when I was recording this late at night, like after dark, like I had a concealed carry permit. I would bring my gun, and like I'm doing a live YouTube, and I'm sitting down, so it's not always comfortable to have like appendix carry a gun while you're sitting. So I like pull my gun out. I'm like, yeah, it's 4th of July, and I put it down on the table. And dude, YouTube just cut me off. They're like, you can't fucking come to YouTube strapped, bro.
What's that called? What was it from? I think it was what was that movie? With Will Ferrell, he's a cop with Mark Wahlberg, and he's like,
you never done guys, yeah.
He's like, you never done desk pop? And he's like, what? And he's like, yeah. You just shoot it. That's you. You're desk popping all over the place.
I didn't pop. I mean, I just was like, yo, I'm strapped with gats, so like, won't try and.
I mean, if we do it under the desk, I mean, nobody knows what pants I have on right now. For all you know, I'm wearing.
I was gonna say, like, I wonder if people do like pound off on a live.
Oh stream. Yeah, people that are like really into themselves, they definitely like, I'm so good. Look at me go,
Yeah.
good.
I feel like as a dude, like you would see my arm and shoulder moving. But like I feel like if you're a chick and you're just like right now, like I'm like my middle finger is moving, but you can't even tell. Like I could be diddling.
Oh, I could
I could be like yerking the clip and no one can even tell.
rubbing it really, really hard. He's got
Yeah. Like until you start doing like this, you're fine. Like you start smacking it or something. But like I think if you're just diddling a little bit, like you could get away with that.
Diddle.
Yeah.
just a teeny diddle. So yeah, long story short, he went to a restaurant and like showed some spotlight, which gave her even more business. And I love that lady. She was awesome.
Yeah.
So Guy Fieri, we're not gonna do too many more of these. Like we're already kind of like doing. Actually, I'll mention somebody that we could probably speak lots of good things about for once. Anthony Bourdain.
Okay. Yeah. He was more. I don't know what his career was like.
So
from a chef perspective, he did work in restaurants before he began writing about. He became like a food writer, and then he parlayed that into a career in front of the camera, right?
Oh yeah. So what happened was, I'll talk about that off camera. Actually, I was gonna say some things, but not right this
definitely
second.
blew one of the Clintons.
I mean, all of them
definitely sucked a Clinton dick.
Oh yeah, I mean they'll kill you if you don't do a good job. They just no
Dude,
teeth.
100%. Like you think Hillary, like you don't fucking eat that thing right. Like she won't.
Oh my god,
You gotta shoot yourself twice in the back of the head. That's the Hillary Clinton special.
Just like right after Bill did all that bullshit to her, she's like, "You're gonna eat this. You're gonna eat it good."
Yeah. Do you think Monica Lewinsky, like, do you think she wakes up in the morning? She's like, okay, I'm still here. Like I didn't get killed in my sleep by Hillary. Do you think she comes home and it's dark and it's late and she's like flipping on the lights like real slow? Like, is today the day that Hillary sends somebody to get me?
I mean, I want to say yes, but the thing is, like, that also gave Hillary the ultimate power move for the rest of their lives. Like anything that she'd be like, Bill, take out the garbage. She'd be like, no, I don't want to take out the garbage, Hillary. Can we? She'd be like, Bill. And he's like, yes, dear. And he starts like walking out there with his fucking garbage, getting some like garbage juice.
You blew your load on a 22-year-old. You will take out that garbage. Yeah.
Oh my god. It is weird watching your own show, isn't it? And commenting to us too, because we're like, it's like you're here, but you're not here, which is weird. I don't know if I like it. I'm just gonna.
It's like when you're like you're too drunk to drive or whatever. When your wife drives you home and you're like sitting in the passenger seat and you're like, this is fucking weird. I'm in the passenger seat of my own car. Like every now and again, like once or twice, I've sat in the back seat of my own car.
Oh yeah, that's weird.
That's really weird. Like I'm a child now.
I don't like that is my least favorite, but I don't drive my car. I mean, I drive it like when I go to work, but when me and the wife are in the car together, I don't drive, and I refuse to drive.
Power move.
Yeah, that too probably, but it's more. It's like no, you're my chauffeur. That's how I'm gonna start like looking at it from now on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, yeah, you drive me. No, what it is my wife. She likes to comment while we're driving, and seeing as how I've been driving for a very long time, I don't like to be told how to drive. So it finally gets to a place where like I start yelling and getting upset. And she said it, not me. She said it, not me. I didn't say it. She said it. So I just stopped doing that, and now I don't drive. I let her drive, and that's the way it goes. But sometimes it's a real detriment though, because like one time she had to go get something checked out the doctor, which she had to take a Valium or something very powerful, so she could be like, relaxed to go do this thing. And I was driving her. And the entire time she's like, slow down. Like, you're going too fast. You're going on that corner. Da-da-da. And I'm like, I stopped the car on the side of the road. I'm like, yep, you're driving. And she's like, I can't drive. And I was like, I was like, then you need to like stop like right now. And she wouldn't. So I ended up getting out of the car and walking the opposite direction for a hot second.
You ever think about doing that thing they do in the movies where you like just pull up real quick and like throw a bag over her head and like, like zip tie her hands, like throw her in the fucking backseat, like, shut the fuck up. I'm fucking, you get in the motherfucking car. And then you just drive wherever you drive, however you want to drive. And she got a bag on her head. So she doesn't know.
I mean, we use a bag anyways. That's because I'm romantic. Really quick, back to Anthony Bourdain. So Anthony Bourdain, he was
I'm
a
so
chef.
weird looking. When I masturbate, I put a bag over my own head. Shit.
Oh, dang. That sounds sexy. Sexy bag. Um, oh my god, is it plastic or paper? Which bag is
Definitely
it?
paper. Definitely paper.
Oh, okay,
A
good. That's
plastic
safe.
Like I'm gonna die with a Market Basket bag on my head. My kids are gonna find me with a fucking.
Ew, Dad Sharp's a Market Basket. Gross. Why isn't it a Whole Foods bag, you piece of shit?
Because he's a cheap bastard.
Yes, he is. We're all cheap bastards.
Didn't even have the goodness to dye whole food bags around his head.
No, Trader Joe's, like any of these things that are like much better. See, if you wore the burlap sack, I would be like, oh my god, he was trying to be like
Friday the
Jason
13th.
from Friday in Part 2. And he just loved it so much. He's like, I gotta spank it now. I have all these hands and no face. Anthony Bourdain was a chef. He wrote a book called Kitchen Confidential, which was an amazing book. It really told like the life of a cook. It told a lot of the secrets about working in the kitchen, all the ins and outs and all the drug use and all the other things. And
secret I'm still trying to like the one that I really like. I searched Kitchen Confidential for this secret, but this is a secret that still eludes me to this day. I haven't been able to find it. It's like I want to learn how can I get an erection again after coming on the salad. Like how can I get an erection again? I'm mortified. I'm embarrassed. I'm having such a hard time achieving an erection after I came on the appetizer, but it's like now it's time for the main course and I can't even I cannot even get hard enough to ejaculate on the main course. Like I've searched everywhere because that is the pro. That's the Wolfgang Puck. I think that's
the Wolfgang Puck, if you will.
Wolfgang Puck.
If it's so funny because you get caught doing it and they're like, sir, there's a sneeze guard for a reason. You're like, yeah, it's not a jizz guard, it's a sneeze guard, dummies. I'm using it right. Yeah, thank you, Keith. I appreciate that. I like to hear that we're being entertaining. It's good. Because sometimes I wonder if we're trying to entertain ourselves, if we're entertaining people. I tend to forget that people do watch, which is a thing. So he wrote Kitchen Confidentials. They loved the book. He started going around blogging and writing things about restaurants, and then inevitably Travel Channel gave him his own show, which was so different than every other cooking show that was on at the time. Most of them were Hell's Kitchen. They were Iron Chef. They were even like an Alton Brown, who, by the way, is a fantastic chef, and he also went to NECI, which is the New England Culinary Institute in Vermont. So like there's lots of good chefs, lots of good shows, but what he was doing, he was traveling and shining light on people that don't ever get a light shine on them, period. And I'm not saying restaurants. I mean, like he'd go to like the back alley of Thailand in Bangkok, Thailand. He was eating some risky shit, and he was like really going for it. And like it was, you could tell how much
that's why people love him.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think he's brilliant. My sister turned me on to him, and then I turned on. He's brilliant. I like. There's another guy right now. His name's Sonny. Let me pull up his thing really quick. I want to make sure I say his name right.
Like
He's
Sonny's
very.
Barbecue?
No, not Sonny's Barbecue. It's he's a guy that wears this red bandana, and he like goes to all like it's really weird because he doesn't hold back when it comes to food. Like he shows everything, the slaughter of the food. Like he goes to like I'll send you a couple links afterwards. It's very wild, and you're just like, what? I think Rogan had him on the show not too long ago. I'm trying to look for his name really quick just so I don't fucking fuck it up. 1 second, sorry. It's how Sonny became. The show he does is called The Best Food Ever Review Show, which is just like, what the fuck is that even supposed to mean? But it's brilliant. I'm gonna send you a couple things from it. But
I think I want to have like a show where I go to all like the back alleys of like Vietnam and shit. I eat all the weird food that somebody made with their feet and shit like that. And it's going to be called How Jason Got Intestinal Parasites.
I love that episode. It's so good.
That's going to be the name of my travel food show.
We only got a little bit of time left. I think we did a good job listing.
I will say Anthony Bourdain, though, he gets a pass. He's probably the one person we talked about that's sweeter than Rachel Ray.
Oh, yeah.
A nicer, kinder person.
And real. Like, he's a very real.
Too early, just,
R.I.P.
The homie.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't capitalize. I don't feel like he was. I feel like for the Anthony Bourdain, like he didn't go and do like what Rachel Ray did, which was probably smart. Like I'm not going to insult her for being smart and making that money. But like, why is her face on a box of Ritz crackers? Why does she have dog food and cat food? Like, why is she cashing in so fucking hard? Anthony Bourdain wasn't like, hey, I want you guys to try my new salamander food, and this is the Anthony Bourdain fish food, and it's like, hey, we've got Anthony Bourdain foie gras flavored condoms and
just what? Oh man,
foie gras flavored condoms. Yeah, I know French, motherfucker.
I want foie gras fucking flavored condom. I wouldn't use it anyways because losers. Who uses condoms?
Yeah. I've got kids. What do I want?
I know, right? Have more.
The best part about kids is not wearing rubbers.
Bam, said it. Are you fixed? You're fixed, right?
No. Me and my wife are even thinking about having another one. We're kind of in early discussions of, I know I shouldn't put it out there. I shouldn't tell the whole internet. My mom is going to find this video and be like, what? Yeah, but we're like, the door is not shut on that. Let's put it that way. I think we both wouldn't we like to have a third kiddo? Like, I think we both like kids. We both like our kids. Like, I like kids. I don't want to sound like a weird guy that should be on a registry, but I like kids.
But I am.
Yeah, but I am.
One of you. By the way, if there's any schools around me right now, just know I'm not allowed near you. So don't come near me. Don't you throw your balls in my yard, kids. I
feel like it's kind of a loophole when they drive the bus right past my house. I'm like,
it really is.
Look, I didn't go anywhere. I stayed inside today, but the bus full of kids is still driving right past the house.
Listen, Keith, I sent you so many videos the other day about good hot dogs. He gives me flack. He gives me so much flack because Keith is a smoker. Not like he's that too, but like he smokes meat. And
I love smoking meats. I got a smoker for Father's Day like 5 years ago, and that's what I was telling you about the Coke I sprayed. Yeah, I sprayed cherry Coke on my pork butt.
And that's also how you get kids off your lawn. Get off my lawn! I got cherry Coke. Keith throws very nice barbecues, like ones you've invited me to, Jason Almy. And he was telling me about the meats he serves at the barbecues, and I'm like, I serve hot dogs and hamburgers. I'm poor, and so yeah, he gives me flack about hot dogs, but I found a litany of hot dog recipes that are fantastic. So I'm just gonna fucking just spam the shit out of this channel.
Hot dogs and put them in my fancy ramen. Like,
ooh, fancy with like a soft boiled egg and a little bit of teriyaki sauce.
Oh yeah, the teriyaki, bringing it full circle. Really, that's an excellent callback. Let me ask you this, because you mentioned hot dogs. Let me just ask you how you feel about the term glizzy.
I hate that so much.
Poverty is offensive, and that's also why. Just like poor people.
Yeah, oh my God, Keith, I know it. I knew it. I thought it in the back of my head. I'm like, Keith does not like my poverty level, but that's okay though, because
diabetes.
I still got it. It's over here. It's right there. Right over there. Hot dogs are great. I hate the term glizzy so much. I think it's so dumb. But is it because we're old that we don't like the term glizzy, or is it because it makes no fucking sense?
Well, it's probably both. A, it makes no sense. But B, it's like slang that we never consented to, because we're like beyond the point of like contributing new slang to the vernacular. Like we've been left out. It's like, move aside, old man. Like, we're taking the lexicon now. I'm 15 and I know better than you. Get the fuck out of here. But what really offends me about the glizzy thing, what really offends me about that is when people try to pretend like it's always been that way. They gaslight me. They're like, oh yeah, it was glizzy. Like, black people were calling it glizzy in the 1970s. And you're like, no, they weren't. Because I've been to at least 2 black barbecues in my life, and no one called it a glizzy at all. I did get shot, but nobody called the hot dog
just at so all. Many times. Yes. They call me 50 cent piece is what they call me. I am the white 50 cents. I just don't think it makes any sense. Like, usually when you have slang terminology for something, it's derived from something that makes sense. Like, if you're to call it a dizzy, I'd be like, oh, okay, it's a hot dog, or like a hizzy dizzy, something like that. That makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
But that's not what they do. They called it a glizzy, which is like, So hold on, I'm gonna look this up really quick. Actually, I have access to the interwebs.
I don't want. You know what? Like some Wikipedia page is gonna be like, yeah, originally they called it, in the Adirondack Mountains, they called it a glizzy in the 1850s, and it's gonna be some stupid like.
Okay, I'm looking. Sorry, I was like, Keith's right. Where did glizzy come from? All right, cool. It's the top search. The word glizzy is actually first used to refer to handguns. It started with wordplay on a gun brand Glock. Oh, that's cool.
That makes sense.
Which makes sense. Thank you.
I'll air you out with my glizzy, bitch. Yeah.
Made like slang with an izzy suffix. Izzy speak attached izzy or izzle.
Izzle, that's like the Snoop Dogg, like for shizzle.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
That's exactly what it says. It says
totally
right
cool.
After
that's the Snoop Dogg for shizzle, my nizzle. You know what I mean? Like I can even say that with my whiteness.
And it says that the earliest reference to glizzy came from YouTuber Azael Prather, who posted a video describing the different types of glizzies, which weirdly enough had a picture of his dad's cock on it. Autocorrect is British horseshit too. That's right. I think the Brits did vet autocorrect. Like, no, we invented the language. We're going to tell you how to spell glizzy, sir. And then Shona said it's a term for a handgun. See, she knows. Shona's
Thank
hip.
you. Your wife is gangsta.
Oh yeah, she's like, I get strapped with a glizzy every day, which makes it sound like she's getting strapped with dogs. I'm like, what are we talking about right now? If you find yourself at R. Kelly's house, you're in trouble. Funny.
You're in.
He's making those jokes because
I want to piss on you. Yes, I do.
Oh, you're 16. Nobody cares. My name is R. Kelly.
Dude, if R. Kelly wanted to be a guest on our podcast, if he was like, yo, it's me, R. Kells, and I'm gonna fucking call you from prison, and I want to be on your show. Like, how fucking quickly would we both say yes? Like, I would say yes to Kelly's.
It could be the
like,
fake
bro, you were married to Aaliyah. I need to hear about that.
Oh, that's right.
That alone, like, let me smell your finger. Like, I'm gonna come visit in prison just so I could like stick it through the little hole. Let me smell your finger, even though you married Aaliyah like 25, 27 years ago. I still want to smell that R. Kelly finger.
You're like, you do smell, and you're like, weird. It smells like fire and motor oil burning. That's so strange.
Like,
what's that all about?
Oh God, it smells like hot Cheetos and pussy. Ugh.
It smells like foie gras condoms. Strange.
It smells like a foie gras condom.
It just smells like Bigfoot's dick. Really quick, I just want to tell you a little bit. I'm gonna read a little bit of this. This is written by Fox News. All right, guys.
It's a hard hitting shit.
Here's what we know about the Boeing Starliner astronauts in space.
Oh yeah, you're all about them astronauts. You got a boner for them space astronauts.
I like space. There's two things I really like. I like deep space and the deep ocean. These are the things that like make me the most excited to learn. So when you hear about this,
it's the one thing I'll never get is deep.
No, neither will I. I'm shallow. I'm shallow.
Barely scratch the surface.
I'm just gonna read the top of it. What was supposed to be an 8-day trip into space has turned into a months-long one. NASA officials announced over the weekend that the troubled spacecraft will return to Earth without them. Wilmore and Williams have been on the International Space Station since engineers discovered helium leaks and issues involving thrusters shortly after Boeing's CST-100 Starliner docked, which prompted NASA and Boeing to investigate. Wilmore and Williams are no strangers to outer space, according to his official NASA bio. This is Wilmore's third mission into space. He spent 178 days up there. That trip concluded in March 2015. So the thing is, I know kind of what it's about. But the thing that I'm the most like knowledgeable about this whole situation is the fact that Elon Musk keeps on throwing his 2 cents into it because pissing helicopters. Thank you, Keith. I appreciate you getting that. I really do. I was going for the Leah's dead joke, and bam, he's got it. I know that there was like this fight to see who'd get into outer space first, basically be like the tourist space thing, and it was Boeing and not Starlink. That's the
Virgin. Wasn't it Virgin something or other?
Virgin was up there too. They were another one, and then what the hell is Elon Musk's version 2?
I don't know. Fucking Elon Musk, fucking airplanes
Elon.
in space. I don't know.
Elon's Musk.
SpaceX.
Yeah, there you go. SpaceX. So basically, it's like this. They're stuck up in the ISS as like a touristy type thing just to prove they could do it. Helium leak. They can't get back on the Boeing ship. And Elon Musk has basically been like, hey, you can use my spaceship that's up there that doesn't, not work. And they're all like, sorry, we can't hook up our tubes to your tubes to be able to get them home. That's
Space
that's
docking,
terrible.
man. Space docking is very difficult. Google
Guys,
that.
I'm sorry, this isn't a really great way to cap off the show. I'm starting to get a little sleepies, and I'm starving. Keith is
My blood
desperately.
sugar is low, everybody.
I haven't had food in like 2 minutes. Jason, you are
Keto.
one of my favorite people on this planet. I'm so grateful that you
I love your
said
face.
yes. I love you. I love your face. I love more about your face, just your body. Please remind everybody where they can find you if they found you interesting.
Yeah, I mean, like, besides the sex offender registry, obviously you're gonna find me there. Like, besides that, okay, like, disregard that.
The least wanted poster at that donut shop that I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah,
The
you're
Krispy
definitely
Kremes.
not gonna find me at the Krispy Kreme in Buford, Georgia, because they have fucking banned me from that motherfucker. I was starting to bring random shit in. I was like, yo, man, would you put this through the glaze? And they're like, this is uncooked spaghetti, sir. Like, it's not even gonna be good. I'm like, shut up and do it.
Here's my firstborn child.
$3.
I want her to be glazed, and you keep put your pants back on.
Yeah.
So what are the other shows you do?
Yeah, so I do. I got a YouTube, Pop Culture Mass, and I do some YouTube content over there. I have a video series called It Stinks, where I basically talk shit about every movie I see. Even if it's good, I'll talk shit about it because it stinks. It's a critic reference, John Lovitz. Tom gets me.
I do.
Bruno, you understand how it is. Nobody else understands the critic, but there you go. He did like a guest spot on. They did like a little crossover on The Simpsons circa 1995. And so you can check me out YouTube. You're already on YouTube right now, so youtube.com/@ do the @ symbol Pop Culture Mass, and you'll find me and my videos and such. And that'll link you. teamalme.com. You can find me right there. I got a website. That's cool.
And if you send them
myself
$20
minors at my website,
you can get a little.
I got an OnlyFans.
Cubes. Exactly.
I will stick things in my butt for money on my OnlyFans.
Who doesn't? I mean, come on, it's money.
I mean, I'm going to do it for free. I might as well make a buck.
And last but not least, don't forget to check both of us out on New England Natives, and that is 9 o'clock every other Sunday. Sometimes we skip an extra week because we're sleepy dads, or busy dads, or busy husbands.
A little bit of both. I have not. Like, my kids are like, "Are you tired?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they'll ask me like 3 hours later, "Are you tired?" Yeah. They'll ask me the next day, "Are you tired?" Yeah. And they're like, "Daddy, why are you always say yes?" I'm like, "I'm always fucking tired. Kid. You have not met me. Like, you weren't born the last time I slept consistently. Since you've been alive, I have not slept consistently. So I'm always tired." And my kid's like, she's like kind of competitive, my oldest one.
I'm tired too.
Yeah, she's like, I bet I can fall asleep before you. I was like, ain't no fucking way. I was like, I fall asleep 3 times during this one conversation alone. You don't even know. I will be asleep so fast, I'll fucking go back in time. It's called a tachyon particle. I will go backward in time and fall asleep. That's how fast I will go.
The funny part is, like, you're so competitive that you chloroform yourself just to prove a point. You're like, no, I'm out first.
Yeah, I'm out first. Yeah. I pull this rag out.
Oh my
wife's
God.
like, he's always got that on him.
So, that's just a sleeping rag. It's also his jizz rag. It's a multi-purpose rag.
This chloroform rag is awfully stiff.
Stiff. Just so stiff. It's like your gym
Why
socks.
does this chloroform smell just like semen? This chloroform smells just like dried cum.
Oh my God. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Keith will be I'm pretty sure Keith will be back next week. If he's not, though,
the whole nation of Greenland.
Oh, thank you, Greenland. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Sean.
Barbara.
Keith. Dude, what up? Yeah, we'll see what ends up happening next week, and all that good stuff. I'm trying to pull up the outro to be able to do this, which I will do right now.